So, hello and welcome to our today's webinar, the SIETAR webinar, and the subject is Home is Rare, International Career Coaching. Barbara Kovarubias actually asked me to do that, and it evolved actually more a little bit as a kind of fun subject actually, because probably as all you are, I'm also very international, and very often when I ask people, just yesterday again, I met somebody and I said, okay, from where are you from? Where is your home? And very often people who are that international cannot really answer. And due to this experience, I did some research, and I also have coaching clients with this question. So I'm sorry, I'm just, clicking your microphones off. Due to that, I just started to think about the subject and what we are going to do today. So I hope you see all the presentation. Yes, we will have a short introduction. Then I would like to have a little warm up with you. I would like to present you some numbers on mobility and expatriation. Give you an definition about home and also the third culture model, and also talk about positive and negative reactions. What is home sometimes? So home as a snapshot or as a state, creating a home feeling. So that is then the part about how actually do I work with clients who come in my coachings. Resources in most of my important life areas. It's one tool I use. Then also a balance model, and how to create or model a state of a life vision. So that are things I use, and I hope we can discuss this also a little bit, because it's, for me, the first time I do this workshop with you and this kind of design, and I'm really curious about how you work with that, and how maybe we can have here a little bit also kind of an exchange. So as a very little start, so you see here from my side there is a little sign. Can I see? I have to look here. Where do I? Okay, I don't know how that works now, but it's okay. So you see here one little sign. It's a GDR and the AT sign. So I'm born in the former GDR, and I traveled. I lived in Germany, I lived in Austria, I lived in Iran, I lived in Finland, and now I'm back in Germany, in Austria. And actually, at this moment now, I'm sitting in New York, and so I work virtual a lot, and that's why I can travel in between very nicely. So this is really something nice. And I would like to do with you a little experiment. And as far as we tried it now out before, you are not able to paint in this. I thought that you are able to paint in to this picture, but then I would like to ask you to write in the chat where are you born, and as a second part, where do you live now, and then a number, so of how many places or countries of living have you been in between. So I was, for instance, born in the GDR. I'm living now in Austria, and I have lived in 4 places of 4 different countries so far. So, and I would like you to write this down. I hope you all hear me and you can do that. Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Germany in 10 different places. So I would like, actually, I see that you're writing, and I just see one answer after the other. So this is really a little bit hard to read. Let's just have a very short round. So just one sentence each. I start with Natalie. Natalie, just one sentence, like what you wrote, because I read only one after one, and it's hard to read for me. And I'm not sure whether the others get it. Natalie, can you hear me? Natalie?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I would like to know just one sentence from each other. Otherwise, I just see always one line, and it's not nice.
Okay, good. I was born in France, and now I'm living in Barcelona. It's now 10 years. Prior to this, I lived in Bamako in Mali for 2 years or so. And for my work, I spent some months in DRC Congo, Haiti, and traveled mostly in Africa and South America, India, and East countries.
Okay. Thank you. Great, Natalie. Christina.
I'm born in Germany. I currently live in Slovakia, and in between I lived in France, in the UK, in Switzerland, in Brazil, and in Panama.
Wow, cool. Okay, great. Susan, I have here.
Yeah, hi. I was born in Germany, live in Germany, and I've lived in New Zealand, Ecuador, and Argentina.
Okay, great. Very interesting. So it's really a pity. I was really expecting you to paint this, so it would be really fun to see this kind of network here on the chart. Luisa, please.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Luisa.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Well, I have go. I'm living in Mexico either, and I haven't lived in another country, but I have always working with multicultural teams from US, UK, Spain, Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, and etc. So I haven't had the opportunity to live outside Mexico, but I have worked with those countries.
Okay, great, but very nice. Thank you. Astrid.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Hi. Perfect. Well, I was born in Spain. I live now in Germany since 15 years right now. And many years before that, I lived in the UK and in the United States for 6 months in each country.
Okay, great. Thank you. Beate.
Yeah, hi Steffi and all the others. Have been born and raised in Germany and have been living 22 years in the Netherlands and in France, and now I'm back to Germany.
Okay, great. Where in Germany do you live?
Hello.
In Köln. In Köln. Okay, great, cool. Sylvia, thank you. Sylvia. Sylvia, I see that your microphone is turned on, so it should work.
Yeah, this is Viara here. Yeah, I lived in Bulgaria for 15 years, then 30 years in Germany, the last 2 years in Australia, and I've spent a couple of months in India working there and traveling.
Wow, okay, thank you, great. Dennis.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I grew up in the States. I spent about 6 months in Austria. I've been living in France for a number of years, and I've also spent a lot of time in Japan and mainland China.
Wow, very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Dennis. Emily.
Yes, hello. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I was born in the States, and New York specifically, so you're in my hometown. And I live in France, and I have traveled for several countries and lived in several countries, the UK and also France as a student, and then Israel for a time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Did I miss somebody? I think that I didn't hear Sylvia, but I'm not sure whether she can hear me. She wrote she has a problem. Okay. Maybe Sylvia, then you can write it so I can see. Maybe you wrote already, but I don't. It's hard for me to follow this chat. Did I miss somebody else? Then please raise your hand.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jessica?
Yes, it's me. Hello, everybody. I'm Jessica. I was born in Milano, in Italy, and I'm living in Italy, in Milano as well. And I spent 2 years in Dubai, and now I'm about to leave for South Korea, Seoul.
Oh, wow. For how long?
For 2 years, a couple of years, indeed. Well, we'll see. Now it's for 1 year for sure, and then we will decide. It's for my husband's assignment, and so I'm about to live with all my family for 1 year.
Okay, great. I heard South Korea is a really nice city, so.
Yeah. Great experience.
Good, yeah, great experience. Good luck, really.
Thank you.
So I see Emily writes hello. Emily?
Yes.
That was me.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's okay. And I was just testing. Sorry.
Yeah, just testing. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Somebody else missing? Okay. So you see, it's a pity we couldn't see it now, but now we heard it. So there's already a lot of experience of different, really many different countries in this group, and it's really so interesting. I think that's why we are all also members of SIETAR, because we love this international spirit. So. I would like to negotiate here. Yes. So, some numbers in the beginning. Maybe you know them already all, but this is just to show how many actually we are. So the mobile workforce, it's a study made by an institution. Now I don't see the name here. I wrote this source, businesswire.com, down here. So due to that source, there are 1 billion mobile workers in 2015 globally. So this is really a lot. So it's really increasing even. And in the US, 75% of the workforce works already mobile. So that means also virtual. So this is really a huge, big group. And here you see another pile of numbers of the expatriates worldwide. So at the moment, they are a little bit over 50 million, and up to 2017, they will be 56.8 million people. So this is really a very huge number of people already, and it's growing. So it's really fast growing, up to something like 50% within something like 10 years. So it's really a lot. So I think I mute all your microphones again. And here you see who is affected actually. Somebody else got in. Hello. Who is affected by all this mobility, and if you especially think about expatriation, so that is the part, or that are the people I basically work with if I don't work with virtual teams, so that's the other part. So this is on one hand the expat itself and the partner and the kids, and due to certain studies, this is the fastest growing population group in the today's world. So, but sure, there are also other people involved, family, friends, companies. So the effect is not only on the expat, it's really a huge part also on the surrounding. So I don't know why it's stopping here always. So I don't want to go into too many numbers because I'm sure you are better in these numbers than I am. So what actually is the case when people come to me. So why do they come to a coaching? And mainly I work with expats, not so much with partners, interesting wise, but so they come to me and actually they want to talk with me about they want to plan their life. So this is basically that with what it starts. And then it ends up with this, that to talk about, okay, who are they actually? Yeah. So, and a definition from of home. So there are many definitions, I know, but it's a place in which a person is born. So it's about socialization, which shapes the identity, character, mentality, attitudes, and also the worldview. So it starts actually very early. So that's why if we think about the kids, so if now I think Jessica says she goes to South Korea with her kids, so they will be affected already by that. So their identity, character, mentality, etc., will be already shaped by a different kind of way when they would just stay home. So, and I'm sure you know this as well. So this is the third culture model by Ruth Van Rieken. So what happens is very often that you have a home culture, that's the first culture, that mostly the culture where the parents go, or then the host culture, the second culture, and then the third culture. This is the emergent part where everything comes together, and the common thing here is the international mobile lifestyle, and like this very often people identify and find each other. And then there is a nice movie, maybe some of you know this movie. It's a Third Culture Kit, a film about the Third Culture Kit identity. I wrote you the link down there. I couldn't upload it here, so that's why I cannot show you, but it's very nice. So it's also a little bit like the movie starts, okay, so where is your home? And it's beautiful because all the students there who were supposed to answer couldn't really answer this question. So it was really interesting. So I invite you to watch that. What I would like to ask you now, because you're also very diverse and from different parts, to answer this question, and if we are not able to write it into the chart, I would like to have a little round again. I think it's better like this than that we really say it than instead writing it in the chat. Beate, you started already. Where I am. Okay, this is nice. And I think I would like to hear you once more. Otherwise, it's really just writing the chat is it's not very pleasant for me. Astrid, what is your answer? What would you say? Just very spontaneously. So I started asking this question actually to many people, and that are two answers I got. Yeah, so you see, it's very metaphorical. Yeah.
You mean right now, we talk now, or you said that we said it on the microphone? Well, for me, home is where my family is. As simple as that.
Okay, great. Christine. Christine, can you hear me? One moment, I have to.
Now?
Yes, now.
Okay. Home is where I feel good, where I'm happy.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Jessica.
For me, home is where I can build relationships.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. Emily.
I would say that home is where I feel very much authentically myself, and with friends and family. I'm sort of adding an extra one as well.
Yeah. Okay, great. Dennis.
Yeah, I would say that home is a place where I have enough room to roll out my yoga mat and practice yoga, which is not always the case in a small hotel room.
Okay, thank you, great. Viara. Okay, I hear somebody writing.
Yeah, I've already put a little note down there. So home is where my heart is, where my heart is joyful and, peaceful, where my
Okay.
heart is fine and happy.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Sylvia. Yeah, Sylvia, I have the feeling she cannot really connect, so I'm a little bit... where my family and friends are, I see. Thank you, Sylvia. Beate.
Yeah, as I already wrote, I have a pretty nomadic background, so basically I came to the conclusion that home is where I am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Luisa?
Yeah, for me, home is where I'm happy and peaceful, basically.
Okay, thank you. Susan?
Home is where my husband and my kids are and most of my personal belongings.
Okay. Natalie?
Yeah. Will say so where I feel safe and have the possibility to have some habits to build some relationships.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Did I miss some people? I think I see now that there are 15 participants. So yeah? Please. Maura.
here.
Hello, Maura.
Hi, hello.
Welcome.
Can I say where my home is?
Yes, please.
It's where relationship I care are mostly based and where I feel connected with them.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. I see we have 15 people. Is somebody else I didn't ask yet? Give me a short feedback. Did I ask everyone? Okay, great. Okay, very nice. So I see here already a lot of competence actually, because it's really about relationships where you can be authentically yourself and family, friends, people around you. So this is already something really, really strong and nice. So, Dennis, would you like to say something?
Just a sense of peace, where I have a feeling of peace.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, very nice. So I invite you to ask people around you the same question. I love this question. So it's really diverse, the answers. And sometimes really like this, that people are like, I don't really know where it is. Okay. So that's actually the part where it all started. Okay. So let's go on. I have to change it again. So what happens actually if people are in this moment that they are getting this question, home is where, and they cannot really answer, and so there are different reactions. So I start with the negative ones. So some people who might be after a while in a position, so if they don't find this inner peace, and as you said it, or don't find the relationships, don't find the place where they, how did you said it's nice, Dennis, where you can roll out your yoga mat. So this mat. So they have a difficult to accept themselves. So it's a missing self-acceptance. They can also sometimes really hardly build relationships because they hop from one relationship to the other, and so it's difficult to build this, to keep relationships also with partners. So there is a high uncertainty and also a little bit like this restlessness. So in means of, okay, I stay here for a while, and if it doesn't work, then I just change the place. So I pack my luggage and I go. Yeah, so in this relation. And the effect, so if you talk about expatriates, so this is really difficult because it has also an effect of their capacity to work effectively. And this is also something sometimes they really come to, or it's a reason why they come to a coaching and say, okay, I'm really overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, and I don't feel well, and don't have this right relationships, etc. On the other hand, there are always also very kind of positive reactions. So this is the understanding of different ways of life and habits, openness to new ideas and strangers, outgoing personality, good language skills, fantasy, creativity. They're very flexible. So this is also strong qualities I always also see in these people. So what happens with, in my case, I said already, I work with expat. What I can observe is that for them, very often home is a little bit like a state, so it's like a snapshot, and it's about what we work on. Is then it's creating a home feeling. So and this has two sides. So one is an external focus and one is an internal focus. So the external focus is, as you said yourself, so you need relationships, and very often these relationships are built in these expat communities. Even so, a lot of people like and wish to also to enter local communities, but this is very often difficult, also because of language skills, etc. So they find themselves in international schools, organizations, institutions like SIETAR, for instance. So we meet all here because we love this international environment. What also is something nice is that I observe that people take symbols. So, for instance, the couch. So each station there, this couch comes with the family, or a clock in the kitchen, or a jewelry. For instance, I have a chain also. I have it always with me, or a certain picture. Things like that. Has somebody of you also such a kind of symbol? I like that. So a symbol you always take if you go to a different country. Raise your hand, give me a sign. Okay, no. Okay, but this is something I observe, or sometimes I also even recommend. So what is also external? So this is the focus on resources, routines. We go to this part later. To always develop again routines, to strengthen networks, and also to be really aware of how to design farewells and new beginnings. So to actually make a kind of, let's say, a little party out of it, or a little, so that you have also kind of symbol how to say a farewell and make a new beginning. That's the external focus, which happens maybe even also automatic. The internal focus may be more interesting, I don't know. So this is more the concentration or the awareness about an inner core, and that this inner core develops actually. So who said that? So some of you said also like where I am. So it's interesting. So to know who are you then. So what very often happens is when you go to a foreign country or different country, that especially in the very first 3-4 months, you don't know anymore who you are, or this comes a kind of, each time you need to question this again, and it comes again, okay, who am I? What are my values? What is important for me? So, and this inner core is a kind of always developing. So, and this is something beautiful, but it's also work to do. Then I like also to work on life visions, on beliefs, positive intentions. So what is actually my own experience with that? What do I believe? What is my self-worth? So this is also something a lot of people struggle when they enter a new culture. So, and they have this new, on one hand, to performance well, the partners have, so you have to think about the partners, about the kids, how they feel, and all this kind of things. And very in the beginning, there needs to be a lot of work around this, all this part. So, and this is also a matter of self-worth, because you compare yourself always with how it was before and how it could be maybe later. So what makes you grow personally? This is also a big subject to work on, and what can you contribute to the society? This is also very often a subject for the partners. the partners who follow. Um, some of them work, some of them don't work, but this is also a big issue. So it's exciting to go to a different country, but on the other hand, also to balance this relationship. So one has to work a lot, and the other one has to find this space. So where do they grow personally? What can they contribute? How can they find this kind of space? And sure, as more different the culture is, as more you need to work on this values and of a way to bridge this kind of cultural differences. That are things I usually do with people, and I would like at this point, before I go to the next part, and we try to work a little bit about around this kind of stuff, whether you have a question at this point. Question or input. I saw someone of you is even an expert coach. What is the SIETAR? Maybe you would even add something or have a question here. Okay. Any feedback at this moment? Okay, then give me a short feedback whether this is okay in the chat like this. Because I have a feeling you're a little bit far from me here. Are you all there still? Okay, if there's no feedback at the moment, so then I go on, okay? Everything okay, very good. Thank you, Astrid. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you have questions in between, then please ask. Okay, thank you. Great. Okay, then let's go to the next part. So what I, in the very beginning, like to do with my clients is to make a kind of map. So I actually use a system board to do that with little figures, or you can let them write this down. And it's actually very simple, but I find it really useful, and also the clients are usually very happy with this kind of exercise. So I ask them in the first step, what are their main and most important life areas? They can be different than this four I wrote here. So I like them to focus on 4 different life areas, and mostly one of the life areas is the job, one is the family or friends, one is health, and also an important part is finances. Could be also something else, but to find this out, so what are life areas? And then in the second step, to think about, okay, in each of this life area, what are really most important resources? For instance, in a job, it could be a former boss, it could be a colleague, it could be maybe a client. So who actually is supporting me in my job? And then I really collect all of this, so that they really have something like 10 resources. This can also be, that can be people, that can be also beliefs, it can be success stories, it can be things I'm telling myself in this moment. So everything what is a strength and a resource, and I like to collect it in one kind of box. And sometimes I even send them home and say, okay, do that the next week. The same thing I do with family and friends. So I really like them to collect everything, what is a strength and resource in this field. So that might be partners, very often come partners, kids, parents, and also here again, not only people, but also things like really beliefs, stories, so things, success stories you did, maybe things other people tell about you. Yeah. So again, and I really let them collect a huge number of items here. And the same thing with health. So Dennis will laugh now about the yoga class. So it's can be like healthy food. I go do sport. I take care of what I eat or what is in my food, or so many things again. So I let them again collect many things. And similar things I do with financials. So that might be, I don't know, I'm good, very well insured. I know that I have a good income. I know that my family is safe. So again, everything what is kind of important, and it's a resource, it's a strength. I let them collect this, and as a result, this is a little bit kind of also looking back. It's resource and strengths focused. And so like this, they have a kind of basis to start working into the new environment. Okay. What I would like to do now with you, I wanted you again to write it in this. So I'm sorry that I misunderstood this opportunity, so that it doesn't really work. So let's have a round, and I ask you, each of you, just for one of these parts. So I start, for instance, with Christina, and I ask you, okay, what would be, for instance, a resource or a strength of you in the field of job, if you think about leaving your country?
Experience.
Mm-hmm. Experience. Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Then Natalie, what would be a really good strength for you in the part of family?
Well, my sister.
Your sister. Thank you. Thank you, Natalie. I just saw that Beate has to leave. Okay, sorry, Beate. Yeah. We will it's a record running, so you can have a look at it later. Would be actually interesting because Beate writes she's an expert coach herself, so what she would do actually in this part. Thank you. Susan, what would be a really good resource and strength in the matter of health?
Taking care of good fresh food.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Louisa, in regard of finances, what would be a really good resource?
I don't, well, it's like knowing how to manage my finance. It's like knowing which institutions or a person that can help me to manage my finances that need attention.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you, Lucia. Astrid, we start from the beginning again. A very good, maybe a belief even about what is the strength in the job field for you.
It could be the possibility of getting a new network of colleagues or potential clients or whatever in that sense.
Okay. Okay.
Networking, if I should have to say it in one word.
Okay.
New network.
Okay, great. Thank you, Astrid. Sylvia, family and friends, what would be a really good resource or strength for you? Oh, Sylvia is again, I think she had trouble. Sylvia, you can write it also. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Sylvia. That's really a pity. So she doesn't have enough bandwidth. Okay. Thank you, Sylvia. So I hope you can have a look at the presentation afterwards. So then I hand over to Viara. Viara, what is a really good strength for you in regards of family and friends?
Sorry, in regards what? I'm sorry, I just had to unmute myself.
Okay.
So what was the area?
Family and friends. What is a very good strength for you?
Well, a strength for me is that I know that I connect with many people and they just have this general ability to build up friendships and to get connected with people. This gives me peace of mind, so that whenever I go, I can manage that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Viara. Dennis, how about, it comes to you, the health part. We know then already. Or is there something else? Maybe Dennis. What is real good strength for you in health, in the area of health? Dennis?
Okay, if I could, I would rather answer for family and friends because often in China, a huge issue is getting a reliable internet connection or finding some way to get a Skype connection. And so knowing that I have a good alternative for online virtual communication with people who are dear to me.
Yeah.
So securing Skype or a similar web chat like we're doing now, it's not that easy in China, so that's one of my first concerns.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, Dennis. Thank you. What could be a resource in this regard? Do you have an idea what you can do about that?
Yeah, probably other people in the expat communities who have advice on where to, how to get around the internet censorship, or are places that you can go and have easier access. It just depends on where you are in China, how strict the censorship is, and finding out from other foreigners how they get access.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dennis. Emily, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you like to answer on the health area, or if you like, you can also choose another one. So.
No, health is good. The resources that they're in France and in Paris specifically, there really is. It's an excellent health system. It's open to everybody, and you can just go into hospitals. All you do is show your card, and it's not like, unfortunately, the United States, where they're very, very. Let's put it this way: they want to make sure you have all your insurance in place, and so it's really a great health system here. I would say that's a huge resource.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Emily. Jessica.
Yeah.
Would you like to answer
Oh,
in the
well.
field of finances, or you can choose also another part if you like to?
Oh, yeah, I think I could. Emily, friends.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, opportunities is resources is to be connected to people coming from other countries and other cultures. So I think that it could be the first important resource I could get in this kind of experience.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Jessica. Maura.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Maura. You would you like to answer in the field of finances, or you can also choose another piece if you like.
Yeah, maybe another pieces. With finance, unfortunately, I'm always too bad.
But we have people as well, so this is the funny thing, okay? But choose another one if you like.
With friends, well, I can say what was difficult for me in my last experience. It was that I was mainly overworking, and it was very difficult for me stick with my colleagues and friends. I needed to looking for friends outside my working environment or my working times. And so the struggle was to balance harmony with my colleagues, but on the same time satisfy what I was needing, which were relationship not connected necessarily with work, or a relationship with whom I could share more personal interests.
Okay, great. So, and you found these relationships? You found it?
Yes, but unfortunately, I didn't succeed so much with my colleagues.
Okay. Okay, this is interesting now. So, but basically, so the success is that you made some relationships as well. Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's a matter of balance.
Yeah.
It's a matter of personal balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Balance and probably priority. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Mara. Did I miss someone? Or did I ask everyone? Okay. I think I asked everyone. So, and I invite you, so I mute you very short again. I invite you to do that. So I really like doing this exercise. So you can, for instance, take this sheet and within the next week, you write everything down so that it becomes really, really rich. And what happens actually with the clients then, that they have this kind of basis, and sometimes they come also back like weeks later, oh, you know, I wrote down these resources and then I knew whom to ask and I knew whom to, where can I go and to get help. And oh, hello, Susanna. So we have somebody else coming in. Hello, Susanna. Welcome. So this is something I like to do very in the beginning. Do you have a question to this? Dennis wrote a common complaint in France. Dennis, what does it mean? Was it a feedback to Maura, maybe? Could you say it once very short?
Very.
Yeah, Dennis?
Often, yes. Often the people who, foreigners who come to work in a French company, find that there's such a strong work-life balance that it's often hard to socialize with French people on the weekend, or people don't see each other, that they'll often have lunch together, but then on the weekend they won't often go out after work for a drink. And so, you know, developing relationships beyond their official duties. People can be friendly, but it's difficult in the workplace to actually make friends with people, with French people.
What is the secret to enter the French society?
Oh, I wouldn't say there is. I don't think there's a secret. I think there's expectations that people should have, and realistic expectations that people can have, maybe to minimize frustration.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what you think about that, Emily.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dennis. Thanks for this feedback. Are there questions on this or comments? Would you like to ask something or to say something? Okay, so then I go on. So there is a second. Yeah, hello? Somebody say something?
Oh, sorry. I mean, it's a very interesting point you made, Dennis, about the very positive life-work balance that we have here in France. Actually could be a deterrent to people who are trying to break in, you know, to create these relationships. You know, what I always suggest is that people get involved with associations, that they volunteer, that they do the networking that somebody was talking about, and that they take the first step to invite people to their homes as well. There's much more. I know when we came from the United States, it was hard because we were used to going out to dinner together with people. Right. And here in France, there's much more of, well, you know, I will invite you to my house, or you will invite me, you know, but once you get invited, it's a big deal. So it's to get to that stage. Sorry, I couldn't understand.
And so much more formality. People just don't drop in on each other, and there's a whole protocol of l'apéritif and things you say and how long you stay, and yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Emily. So you see, it raises already discussion, so you can also use it then in order to collect maybe cultural awareness, points of cultural awareness, how it functions, and go into this direction. So if it's necessary, okay, great. So what I also like to do with clients is that I ask them actually. Before came already the word balance, and this is actually about balancing yourself, your relationships, and your job. So what very often happens is, especially in the beginning, sure, when you start being abroad, but also during the stays abroad, is that these three areas of life are not anymore balanced. So for some, there is a high... Hello, Rhonda. So we get some more participants here. I see. Welcome. So what happens very often is that there are very high job expectations. So that on one hand, so for the expat itself, so this plays a very high percentage of focus. On the other hand, also the relationship part needs focus, and also the me or the self. And this is very often not balanced. And there, so one is about the balance in yourself, and the other part is also the balance within the relationship. Yeah. So if you go with a partner, or if you go with family, also your partner might have the need to be significant in her or his own job, and this is very often difficult to accomplish. Yeah, it needs much more work. So to balance all this kind of areas, this is also a main area we work on. And the first question is to distribute the own focus. How is your own focus on yourself, on the relationships around you, and on the job you do? And I think I just go again and ask and have a round. And I start this time from the other side. I start with Maura. One moment, I have to give you the allowance to speak, please. If you would.
Just one question, maybe I missed this part. Do you mean in general or when we are abroad?
When, okay, usually people come to me when they just went abroad. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but maybe for you it's easier. I just would like that you get a kind of little feeling for it. You can also think about now. Maybe you're already settled, everything is done, and it's okay. So, but just to try it out, if you have 100%, how would you distribute it?
Well, I can tell you what I do normally. I would say, well, let's say 75% job, probably. And then I would divide the rest, let's say 70% job to make it, no, well, 75% job, and then 12.5 for me and 10.5 for relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, Maura. Jessica, how would it be for you?
Okay, it's quite difficult for me because for my job, relationship and job are quite connected. Because I am a trainer and a coach, so when I do my job, I have relationships as well. So for me, it's a 70% relationship and 20% job, 10% me.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, thanks a lot, Jessica.
You're welcome.
I'm starting now. Susanna. Susanna?
Hi.
You came a little bit later. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, I think I misunderstood the timing, and I just joined.
Yeah, that's okay. So did you get what we are talking about? So we are already actually in the tools. In the beginning, I gave a little bit introduction of definition and numbers. It's very short, and now I try.
I saw the previous slide, and now this about the balance. And actually, today I realized get the information that in 2 months I will move to Italy.
Wow, cool.
Welcome.
Wife, actually. Oh, I will need some information and help.
Okay, we are here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So maybe, and so later if I may, I would like to contact some of you to discuss how to prepare for myself for the move, because I move with my family with 2 small kids. So I have to organize everything, and I have like 2.5 months for that.
Okay.
So for me, I think I won't be working there, or at least I just changed my job, became a trainer, business trainer. So I think I will start there, doing something after we will settle. So for me, the relationship will be the most time-consuming thing, especially my kids. So I think it will be like, I don't know, 70%, then 20% for me, and 10% for job if I find the time. And I will figure out how I can work there, because my husband will be working, so for him will be like 70% job and 30% through the rest. Exactly. So the kids will be on my head and everything what's connected with them. So big time in front of me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Susanna, for this information. Here you see already this this big difference, and it's on one hand it's the awareness to be aware about. Okay, I'm then the 70% for the relationship, and he is probably has 70% for the job, and usually it's it doesn't. So it's good to have a balance in it. So it doesn't mean that he should work less and you should work more. This is then about how can, for instance, you can find your own kind of sense and significance in maybe something in the way of contributing to the society or whatever you do there. And for him also, how can he maybe balance it a little bit in the way of how can he contribute to the family, maybe also his piece. Yeah, so this is always the subject. Susanna, I think we have somebody from Italy here, or who would that be? Then let's ask his name. Then you can connect later, or to whom would you like to?
Maura, she wrote. I think she. I have her email on chat, so I will write.
Okay, perfect. You did this already. Perfect, yeah. Perfect. So that means you know already with whom you get in contact. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Okay, Rhonda. Rhonda also came a little bit later, I hope. Hello, Rhonda? So I'm not sure whether Rhonda is still in. Then I go. So I hear now a lot of noises, but not Rhonda. So I'm going on. I'm going.
Ciao.
Hello. I'm going on to Emily. So Emily, please.
Ready?
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so you were asking. Yeah, I've been having some audio problems. It's interesting because yes, when you separate me from my relationships and me, I involved with like my my relationships and equally with the job.
Emily, I hear you hardly.
If I had to break it down this way, 60%. Well, that says my connection has been lost, but I guess you're still there. Okay, 60% with a job and relationships, 20%. But I have a hard time with this
okay.
breakdown, actually.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for this feedback, Emily. Yeah. That's actually something what
I'm very invested in I love what I do, and I'm very invested.
Yeah. This is actually something what happens very often, that people say, I cannot separate me from my job, or I cannot separate me from my relationships because it's all me. So it's this is right. So right in means of let's say like this. So the awareness is of how how much time even also do you give to yourself? So it means of, okay,
That makes sense.
yeah, so I love my job, so I work 24 hours a day, but basically I don't sleep, I don't eat healthy, I'm more than tired, whatever, you know? So that means the job is really 90%. And actually I have that even with expat partners. So this is really interesting, that they really put a lot of time and energy and focus in the job because they have to build something up which is not there and is really, really difficult. And they, on the other hand, they also have, like Susanna just said, okay, yeah, then they are the kids or other things. They build up the relationship, the home and means of the house. And so the me goes really like, it's not anymore there. Yeah, and so it can be really energy
I see.
taking.
Okay, now I understand. Sorry.
So it's maybe also how to you distribute the energy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
I would probably. I was just going to say that I would probably, now understanding it differently, I would probably say 50% for the job, 50% each relationships and me.
Okay, great. Okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Okay, maybe one more feedback. Let's ask Astrid. Astrid, how would you?
Yeah. Well, in my case, I mean, right now, I mean, after so many years since I moved to Germany, I think that some years before I would have split my time differently, but now it is less 40% job, 40% relationships, including my family, and 20% me.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my split right now.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. So so you see now the differences. So some of you said, okay, 75% job. I have really people sometimes who tell me 90% job. So this is then really huge. So this is then a moment to ask, okay, is it necessary or is there a need behind to balance it more? What does it make with you, and all this kind of things? What happens if it's like this? What happens if it goes on like this? And things. So to really balance it, and to do this also for or if it's possible with the partner and also with the kids. Yeah, I mean, they don't have the job, but they have maybe the kindergarten. They have other things they in this part of, let's say, being kind of significant. Okay. Do you have questions to this?
Hi, it's Luisa. It's not a question, but I agree with all what you said about that. Normally, in the beginning, we tend to put more energy on the job if it's us who is going to work there. But I was also thinking that it also depends on the city, or on the country and the city where you are going to work or live in, because maybe if you want to balance it more, no, like maybe 50% job and 25% me and 25 relationships, maybe the city is not going to offer you so many things for relationships or for me. I don't know. So maybe I think that it will depend either in the country or the city that you are going to live with, no? Or not necessarily.
I would say not necessarily. I mean, it's really interesting because a lot of people ask me, okay, do you focus also on cultural differences? And usually I actually focus more on the individual needs. So I ask them, so what is the need behind that? So if there is a focus on whatever 75% job, so what is the need behind, no matter which culture you are behind that? So what is the satisfaction out of that? And what does it make with you? So is it maybe you have the thought that even out of that you get connected to other people, etc., etc. So I try to discover that. But you are right, maybe in means of strategies. If I just think I have now here somebody in New York, and so New York is really an energy-taking city. So this is right. So maybe there's also a cultural aspect beside that. But I would go to that part in the strategies of how to behave or how to work with that. Not in this moment here. Yeah. But Louisa, try it. So try it out. It's always also an information about the culture, sure. So what is behind, why it is like this. I know that in China, for instance, people work night and day, and it's really hard maybe to have there some free time. So how to work with that? And in other cultures, maybe this is not that difficult. So it's also that is also all an information gathering. Yeah.
Okay.
And then to go a step farther with that. Okay. Are there other questions? I see that Emily wrote something in the chat here. Dennis, could you do this exercise with circles, which you could make bigger or smaller, or overlapping or separate? Yes, probably. You can do that with circles. Yes, why not? It's overlapping, could be overlapping. It's a good idea, actually. Maybe then this question of how to separate it, or that this doesn't come up that that much. I'm just thinking now technically. When I work with that, I get this distribution. I try to get this distribution, and then I go into detail. So you can try to do it with circles. I like to do it like this, and I think both is possible. It's more also a way of getting aware, getting information, why it is like this, how it is like this, and afterwards go into the strategy, how, where is the need of change, and how can we change it. Yeah, but you can do that, yes. Thanks for the question, Dennis. Are there other questions on this? Oh, I see here something else. Okay, Emily wrote something. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Emily. Okay, if there is no other question, I would like... Yeah, hello? Some other question? I heard a noise. Okay. Then I'll go on with the another invitation. So I invite you also to try this out in more detail. And I go on here, yes. So this is something which I find also very helpful. So this is very often the case. I mean, a lot of clients come really and ask, okay, I need to plan my future, and I don't know the next step, so the next destination where I want to go, or would I like to go back? How shall I decide? How shall I do that? And this is also all combined again with this subject. Who am I? What is my identity? What do I really want? Where do I feel home? What is that? Where can I build this feeling, and all this kind of things? And what I like to do with them is to set them in a kind of future state. Yeah, so I try really them to feel this. So if you think about 10 years up front, so if you like, you can try to do this now in this moment as well. That you say, okay, where are you in 10 years? With whom? With whom are you actually surrounded by? How does it look like? That doesn't mean that you say then a certain country, but people start in describing, okay, I'm in a house, and this house is in a green area, and I have my family around, and I have lovely people around. For instance, something like this, yeah? What do you do there? What clothes do you wear, actually? What do you say? What is it, maybe typical sentence? How do you feel? So I really try to let the person imagine everything with all senses. You can also ask, what do you smell? What do you maybe hear? Is there maybe even a certain taste you taste in that moment? So really go deeply into that. Yeah, and you can try this out with yourself as well. And if they feel so, sometimes I use also anchors, so they stand on the floor, or if I do that via phone, I try to go into the body conditions. I really ask them, okay, when you feel that, so where is this feeling in your body? Then they say, for instance, yeah, it's in my head. Has it a color? It's, for instance, yellow. Is it moving or is it stable, etc.? And so they answer all these questions. How is your body posture? Are you sitting? Are you standing? How are your shoulders? So really little details. How are your shoulders? How are your arms? Your legs? How do you keep your head? How do you speak actually? So is it loud, low, the voice? How is your face expression? And I try really to check everything so that they really come into the state. And the last part, so you see the relation to this vision. So I ask them even, okay, if you see this now all, and usually they say that they're really, even if you do that via telephone, they're really in this kind of state, and they're like, oh, I'm actually now in it, and you can already sense whether they are really in it and how they feel, whether they are happy, etc. And then I ask them also, okay, if this kind of vision would be a partner or a kind of lover of you, so something you can actually see or relate to, how is the relation to it? So is it attractive? Is it really something you really like to go and you say, oh yeah, this is really, something I want, or really, or more like, I don't really know. Is it very far away, or is it maybe even close? Is it bigger than you or smaller? And all this kind of things. So I really go into deep detail. And so at the end you have designed or modeled, if you want to say, so a state of well-being, which you can anchor and take with you. So you can bring it back to the moment where you are in this. So and also think, okay, what steps in real life can you do in order to go there? So you have then you formulate goals, etc. So this is then a longer process which follows after that. But basically, so this is the very beginning, so that you can actually model, you can design this kind of life vision or feeling home, feeling your identity. I don't know whether somebody of you followed that now. I tried also a little bit this kind of imagination. Otherwise, I invite you to do that once, maybe even with somebody else, or try it out yourself. I find, and also clients find that really helpful. I would like to ask you whether you have questions to this, or comments maybe even. You can write it or ask, please. This would be the moment now. Viera. Yeah, this is always, Viera, I don't know whether you mean now with the live vision or the part before. This is always something nice if you can get both into this, because this is it's good if both are aware of their roles, and also if both can balance it. Yeah, so this is really something important. Life, actually all of that. So if I can, but it is actually very rarely, then I work with both. Sometimes the partner cannot, sometimes the expert cannot, so it's actually a little bit a tricky field, but it's good. And if you work with one of the partners, so if you either work only with the expert or only with the partner, still it's very good to ask, okay, what would your partner think, or what is the moment of your partner, or if you think about the exercise before, how would you think is his percentage, and how does he think he thinks it is his percentage. So it's always good to have both conditions, and even to say, okay, go home and ask him or her what he or she thinks. Yeah, to give it even as an exercise if they cannot attend both. So sometimes it doesn't work. So it's great if you can actually work both in that. It's beautiful. Yeah. Dennis, you mean the live vision part? I'm not sure, Dennis. I do that actually with both, with women and men. And it's more a question whether it fits to the client. So there are actually sometimes clients who do themselves hard with putting themselves in a certain state, especially if it's via phone or like we do it now. So then it might be difficult, and then but you can also talk through it. Yeah. So I would not put it in a certain gender part or something. It's more up to the client. I have also some women who cannot do this or don't want to do it in this way. So then it's maybe even better to talk through it. Or you can also take pictures. Yeah, so they don't need to sit and imagine. You can take symbolic, I like that as also as well, to take a picture and say, okay, what would you like to see in the future? And then you talk about that. Yeah, so there are different probably methods. Vision is an interesting issue for the person accompanying the worker, who may feel that the assignment was imposed on him or her. Dennis, could you tell me shortly what you mean? I'm a little bit stuck here. You mean it's more for the partner? Oh, I see so many chat and clue here. Yeah.
I'm just thinking it might be a delicate issue if the accompanying spouse feels that doesn't really want to be in the new environment and is making a sacrifice, because very often one person does sacrifice the career or their certain level of material comfort, and so it's a question that I would think that a lot of strong emotion could come up when the person starts to tap into that.
Absolutely.
That's just an observation.
Yeah, absolutely, Dennis. And this is, I mean, especially for the spouse, it's also important to work on something like this and to be aware that it's his or her decision, and how can they fit into that. And if they do that together, so how can they find together a way to create their own future? Because as you said, so maybe they sacrifice, but it's also something they actually decided on themselves, basically. So to be aware of that. Yeah, but it's a very crucial aspect. Yeah, and you're right. I'm not so sure whether or how often people talk or really are aware about the subject. Very often it's more like, oh, it's exciting, we go there and we prepare all the how we move and where do we live and where is the kindergarten and things like that, but also to think about this kind of things. Yeah, it's really crucial, actually.
Maybe it's a question to ask every 2 or 3 months, because there's the ideal of what we're going to do, and then there's a certain reality that comes in where one person spends more and more time in the office and less time with the kids and in the relationship, and it might be useful to
I mean the
bring
live
back the question every
yeah, and also this live vision. I mean there are steps behind. So if you I hear from that you also work with clients, so that you work over a certain period with them. So, and it is changing. It's an evolving process. This is absolutely, and but it's important also to. So if you think about the crucial human needs, like you need to be loved and connected. You need to be significant. You need certainty and also uncertainty and all these kind of things. So each of the partners has to develop them, and that's what I meant before. So very often the partner needs to work much more, for instance, for things like the significance in the job, because they need to create something.
One more question. May I ask one more question?
Yes.
About at what point into the coaching do you start to ask these sensitive kinds of questions where, these kinds of, it might be an explosive question, or you might touch a nerve, so I'm wondering, it might not be something that you did right away, especially if it's a difficult country and there's a lot of physical distance, if the person is, across the ocean, and the possibility of going back and forth is not an easy option.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So first of all, the process is basically that you first of all get to know the client at all. You build the trust. You do some, for instance, like this resource building kind of questions, and then you go into the other way. And it's all the questions about the surrounding and what the partner thinks and how is the family. So about these important things, I try to include them from the beginning, but in a very kind of not pushy way. So just to raise the awareness that it's there, and and then it's always a question. So if the answer is, yeah, there is actually an issue, then it's a question, is it something you want to work on? So it's always up to the client. So it's on one hand building the awareness, and when they have the awareness to go on, so would you like to work on it, or is it something you say, we will maybe later, not now, something else is more important, or they will say, yes, it's something crucial, I want to work on it now. And maybe even I bring my partner in now.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, but it's always something to be thought of and to be asked. Yeah, so to include the environment, not only because they are also the main resource. On one hand, it's a crucial point, absolutely, because they have so different lives. On the other hand, they are also the main resource. So if they can work it out nicely, this is the most important part, to have a good partner. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, and Natalie wrote, you may also include questions about sound, smells, absolutely. So really as much as you can sense, so that you can really go deep into it. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Natalie. So I need to go down slowly here. Sorry, Mara needed to leave. Thank you. Okay. Other questions and comments? Otherwise, I see we are also at the end of our session today. So I invite you to try this and to see what happens. And sure, after that, there is another process behind. So it's then also about what are sub-goals, what are other subjects around that. So I showed you now only 3 kind of tools I like to use usually. Okay. So yes. Okay, I see it there already. Yeah. Okay, I see you write already in the chat. You cannot write here, but I see there is in the chat. I see. Thanks so much for having shared with us. Oh, maybe yes, you can write shortly in the chat how it was for you, and maybe what you took from it. And if you want to say something, I'm also happy if you give a verbal shortly feedback. So I see here. So would somebody like to say something, or I invite you to write something. This is also helpful for me so that I know how it was for you. Maybe you would like to add or do something differently. What could even be maybe more helpful? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you. So, and I see the first ones are leaving already, so thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for the feedbacks, and yeah, enjoy the webinar, the other webinars, the other SIETAR webinars. I'm sure I will also attend one or the other seminars again, so I think it's a nice opportunity to meet. And Susanna, I hope you have Maura's address, and if you need the help of somebody else, so I think you can also ask Maura. She might have the addresses. Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye. 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 Thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you very much. I stay a little longer, so if anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer your questions as well. Thank you. Bye-bye. Louisa, there on the SIETAR homepage, there's the whole program. And you can see how often I do this webinar. I actually start probably in next, so what is it now? In August or September I start new webinars. You can have a look at my homepage. And actually the dates are still not on it, but I write it down so. Louisa, it would be nice if you could have a look there, or maybe write me an email and I can answer you then in detail. That would be great.